Hey everyone, welcome back. We almost missed today's
Aha! No,
episode.
no, no. Always.
But I'm happy, well, just for everybody that's listening, Tim reached out and he was like, "Oh, I got to take my dog to the vet." So I was happy that there's nothing actually wrong. That's good. That's a thumbs up for that. And you said it was just allergies.
Allergies. Yeah, he's been sneezing a lot, and he says the way he's sneezing and everything else is fine. The lungs are fine. He's just most likely allergies. He's 11 years old, so probably start. His age.
Yeah.
As we all age. You're not as strong as you used to be, or it's just I don't know. It's changing a season now, right? Even though it tends to happen mostly. But anyway, so it's just allergies. So that's it. Other than that, he's fit as a fiddle. I just want to make sure because family was concerned. Why is he? Because he gets into this whole thing where it's a constant sneeze, and throwing up a little bit because I guess he's a Pomeranian, so they tend to have short snouts. So not that they have breathing issues, but they have short little snouts that could aggravate their throat and all that. So
Okay,
other
well,
than that, yeah, it's good.
happy that dog is okay. And Tim is going to lead us today, guys, because I was looking back at like most of our, last couple of weeks. And I'm like, Jared's been talking a lot. So I was like, let's let Tim run the show. And so take it away, good sir.
All right, so there's a couple things coming up. First things first, I'm going to let you guys know I used in. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to, Nintendo games never go on sale. We talked about that 1,000 different times. Or if they do, it's very minimal. But I highly recommend you get those Nintendo vouchers for $99.98. You get 2 games, and it's usually all the first party games are on there. Some second, possible third licensed. So you get 2 games for basically 100. So you're actually saving money. So I got one of the vouchers, and I have Mario and Luigi Brotherhood. Cannot wait for that game. That is out until the 7th of next month, so a little bit less than a month away. And I got the new Jamboree. So I'm really looking forward to the new Mario Party. So next week I'll have impressions because it's out on the 17th. So it won't be out, obviously, while we're recording this. But next week when you watch the podcast, I'll have my hands on. I'm really looking forward to it because they're redoing some classic, what's it called? Boards, and yeah, it's just gonna be awesome to like some of the Mario Party, the 64 boards. So it's gonna be awesome to see that. I'm really looking forward to it. Let us know in the comments if you guys plan on buying Jamboree. I think it's gonna be even bigger than the previous Mario Party, which is still a good game. I know it didn't have a lot of what people wanted for retro and stuff like that, but yeah, it's great. What I was gonna say, I'm kind of surprised. This is a little bit off topic, but I was thinking about it. Jamboree. Well, we don't really talk, but why is it that Nintendo hasn't made like Mario Party, I guess Mario Kart, no, but no, it's a wave expansion. It's not quite. Why don't they make these things live services with skins, character downloads, and board downloads, DLC? And that's one thing I got to give props to Nintendo. As much as I hate, what are the good old days where content used to be relatively free or very minimal? Nintendo doesn't really gouge their user base with, there's a few games I think that might have, but for the most part they don't. But it's just, I don't understand them, man. It's like that's a huge lucrative pot of gold that Nintendo's just not tapping into, and kind of makes you wonder. Look at how Pokemon Go, how much money that makes, right? It's just amazing how Nintendo doesn't seem to want to nickel and dime us. Come on, Nintendo. Everyone else is doing it. Why don't you? What are your thoughts on that, Jared?
No, I think, look, we've said so many times, right? Like they're Nintendo. So they do what they want to do, and clearly what they're doing is working. So
yeah, that's true. You can't complain.
That's it. I mean, there's a lot, right? The if, and, or, could, but, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's lots of that. There's lots of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, they're doing different things, which we'll talk about in a bit. They're certainly doing different things.
They are doing different things. And I don't know, man. It's just, maybe it's, like you've said before, it's Western thinking, but it's not really Western thinking. I think it's just logical business sense. And a lot of Japanese companies do it, so it's not like it's I don't know. It's just their leadership's unique.
It's Nintendo, dude. It's just Nintendo. That's all you have to say.
I know, but I'm wondering, like, when Homeboy, the Grandmaster himself, retires, I wonder how much influence he has on leadership, because he's an old arcade guy, man. He's one of those guys that love arcade machines. You could tell that with his design of games. It's retro in design, it's archaic, but it's still, like you said, it still works. But it'd be interesting to see once some of the leadership changes happen there. But Japan's a little bit different than Western companies, so we'll see. But anyways, enough of that. But thinking of Nintendo or one of their big IPs, let's say by its true name, and we'll never say it again, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket releases on October 30th on Android and iOS. You guys know I love card games. So basically, anyone who's familiar with Pokemon Trading Card Game, it's a physical card game, and you have a 60 deck size, etc., etc. Pokemon Pocket, which we'll be calling it going forward, is basically a simpler version of the physical card game. It has 20 deck limits, so you can only do 20. And it's out in New Zealand as a soft launch. So if you, like I think I've told you guys before, you do the quote unquote live there, aka set up a VPN. No, we're not going to give information or links on that, guys. There's plenty of sites you can look up on that if you want to start get a head start. But it's the 12th of October as we're recording this, so it's not that far off. But if you really want it ASAP, you can just look it up do some research. I'm personally waiting until the 30th because I'm not like, I know Steven's done this before where he gets some of the releases early. I'm not like that, guys. I don't care. I have so many games I can wait. I'm not going to go to the house because I'm not hardcore like that. But I will, on our sister channel, Card Game Emporium, I will be making hopefully some videos for it. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a PC client. I don't think there ever will be. Don't quote me on that. There's a possibility in the future, but not likely. This is a mobile game through and through. To let you guys know, if you look at footage, it's a really clean interface, really cool. I will be making some Charizard decks, Mewtwo decks, water decks, and of course grass. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's most focused on collection, and there's no like ranked mode yet. There's some missing stuff. The developers said that they plan on bringing rank one day, but it will not be available at launch. But one of the biggest things I love about it is you can actually trade cards, Jared. So let's say you have it. I have this game. This might interest you. I know you're not into battling, but you like to collect. So this is something you might enjoy, Jared, is just collecting cards. It gives you missions to do as well against player versus environment or AI if you don't want to go against humans. So let's say you have a Charizard EX or some rare card I really want, and I have something, or you have something I really want, I have something we could trade. So that's kind of nice. It won't be available at launch, unfortunately, but that's something I think a lot of digital card games should do. But of course, that cuts into profit, right? Because if I could trade, it means I don't have to buy as many booster packs, etc. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We'll have some coverage on the sister site. We'll talk about it, at least in the podcast. So what is your take? I know you're not much into card games, but you are collectible and a Pokemon fan. So
you're so funny. Collectible. I haven't collected
do you collect now, Jared?
Ages, man. Ages. No, I mean, very cool. It's funny, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever spoken to Steve. Well, not even played. I know for a fact I haven't played any like trading card game things or anything like that. But I don't think I ever talked to Steven about that.
Really?
Yeah, about the card game?
Steven's going to be interested in it. I don't know if has he ever played? I think he did play a game that was card based. God, where was that one?
Oh,
RPG?
to hell with the
Baston.
Kaitos there. Baton
There
Kaitos.
you are. Yeah, I think he liked that. And that was a battle. Well, that's a card game, but this is different. Though.
Yeah, that was cool. That was one of the first times.
That was a great game.
I had my name on the official website.
Nice.
Of that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, because I was one of the first guys that
game.
did like an import of that game. Man, memories, dude.
Didn't they remake it too? They remade it just recently for Switch, if I remember right.
You know what? I think you're right. I think they're.
Yeah, they did. I'm gonna have to repick that up because that was a great game, guys. Really highly recommend if you don't.
Let me check. Since we're on the subject.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on the Switch. You check that.
Let's see.
But yeah. I'm wondering if Steven's going to give Pokemon Pocket a try. I don't think he's
Yeah, they
into
did,
card
dude.
games per se. Yeah, you see, yeah.
And it's
definitely.
on Steam as well.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have
It's
to buy this
Batten
Steam.
Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. And let's see, it came out it came out this year, this summer.
Yeah. I was gonna say they just did it. Those are highly recommended games.
Very cool.
If I remember correctly, it came out on the GameCube, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
GameCube.
Yeah, definitely. The
Ah,
GameCube.
man, those are some they're retro now, but man, they were great games at the time.
Yeah,
kind of like
man,
Final
memories.
Fantasy Star Online Episode 3 was a card game, and I loved that. It was a card kind of, you had cards that represents your characters, and that was such a great game, underrated. I wish they kind of redid. They did Fantasy Star Online, but I wish they would redo that as a remake. I would love it, but I don't know if I don't think it's in the cards. Right. Right. All right. So, Steven, if you're listening to this podcast, I know he usually does watch them. I want to know if you're interested in the Pokemon Pocket. I don't think you're a card game fanatic or interested in them, but you might be interested in it since you're a Pokemon fan, and there's a lot of high collectible.
I think he did, though. If I recall correctly, I think he did. I think he was into the trading card games when he was younger.
Nice. When he was younger, yeah.
Well, I don't know. He'll tell us, like, he'll be like, God, you guys are the worst, and he'll say something.
He'll say no. But anyways, Steven, I'd be interested if you want to check out Pokemon Pocket, because like I said, it emphasis a lot, I think, on trading, even though there's battles and stuff like that, like all card games. But yeah, it's a faster paced version, guys. If you're interested, let us know. Probably better. I hope you try it out. It's free to play, by the way. There's no reason not to. Of course, like all these free to play games, you know, you could progress substantially faster if you put the best card in the game as a credit card. Everyone who plays card games always have that joke.
I like that.
It's a joke because
like
it's
that.
true. The best card in the game is the credit card.
Card.
You get that credit card out, you're going to get everything you need.
That's
but anyways,
good. I like that.
They do limit on how much you could spend, though, in a day or stuff like that, which is interesting. So I guess they don't want to gouge you for all your money. So anyways, we'll move on to our next topic. So,
well, stay with Nintendo. We still have the biggest news of all.
Ooh.
You don't remember, do you?
Oh, I do. And I know for a fact when I saw it, I purposely text Jared with new hardware for Nintendo confirmed, and I waited like a second just to see his reply, but I think it was early. He wasn't. And yeah, we have a brand new hardware coming from Nintendo, and I know Jared's pre-ordered it already.
Oh yeah, right.
It's interesting that what they're making is basically an alarm clock, guys. But alarm clock that senses your movement, so it like kind of auto turns off. It senses your movement, so it'll get more intense if you're not moving enough, etc. There's of course stuff on YouTube. Maybe Jared could include the official trailer in the description. But yeah, it comes with like I think 5 games. You'll be able to download 5 game themes, not games, but just the themes like Mario Brothers, Zelda, stuff like that. Plus Splatoon's one of them. And you can customize it a little bit. It's very Nintendo-ish looking kind of hardware. It's basically a clock, little kind of stopper on top. It auto stops, like I said. I don't know if there's going to be a market for this. I mean, there's going to be collectibles, and you can download new themes featuring new games online, so that's kind of cool. You know, I'm not sure how they didn't quote if it's going to cost money. It probably won't. I'm assuming. I can't anticipate they're going to monetize this, but you never know. But Jared, what are your honest thoughts about it? Is it going to be a hit or?
Look, it's Nintendo. So the first thing when I read this, I laughed because I was like, this is such a Nintendo thing to do, right, guys? Like, do you remember what was it, Labo it was called or whatever? Like they did. Then they did the thing where with Mario Kart, like in real life where you could.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this is such a Nintendo thing to do. I do not have it pre-ordered. The pre-order limits for Jared go to the controllers. So like I've got like the NES controllers, the Super Nintendo controllers. Never did get the N64 ones though, because they were always sold out. So I never got those for the Switch. But no, this is definitely not something I will be getting. But I am sure it will do well. I'm sure it'll sell out. This is the type of thing Nintendo makes, a couple thousand of them, and that's it. This is not meant to be the alarm clock revolution. I love the name Alarmo.
Alarmo, yeah.
It's so ridiculous. But it's such a Nintendo thing to do.
Yes, I was going to say alarm clocks are a thing of the past. Everyone has their everyone has their cell phones that they use as alarm clocks now. So alarm clocks themselves are gone.
Well, you say that, but like it's kind of funny that like I'm probably one of the last humans alive that actually has
still use alarm
clock. I have
clock.
A Sony Cube that wakes me up to the radio there, but it's like when I saw this I was like, okay, but it's like bright red, because like again I'm probably one of the last people. I don't want my phone in my bedroom when I go to sleep. I just don't want it. I don't want it. I know that you have sleep modes and all this crap, but it's like I just don't want it around me. So something like this, funny enough, when you were saying like, oh, Jared, go pre-order and all of this, funny enough, I may have if it was a different color, but that is not gonna, it looks like a children's toy. I'm not gonna put a children's toy.
Yeah, it does look very,
but we should say, for anyone that is interested, because I think it's currently exclusive to the Nintendo Online, like you have to have a Nintendo Online Plus expansion pack, whatever the hell it's called, their membership. God, they've got to fix that. I like for the next Switch, just call it like the Nintendo Network or
something simple. I don't know what.
Like, yeah, me too. I hate the Plus expansion pack. Like, give me a break. It's so lame.
This is just call it Nintendo Online Plus.
Yeah, whatever.
Like that, right?
Exactly.
Nintendo Online and then Nintendo Online Plus, like Sony kind of does, right?
Yeah, exactly. Although Sony's out to lunch, though. Their pricing thing there, like, woo! It's like $300 a year if you want to have like the deluxe one.
Speaking of which, is like, some PC players said it's like console manufacturers are getting away with the biggest ripoff known to man. Because on PCs, you don't pay, or you pay your online subscription for internet access, of course, but on PC to play multiplayer, you don't pay anything extra. So on consoles, you have to get in order for you and I to play, you have to Nintendo's online subscription. Yeah. And same thing with Sony and Microsoft on theirs. It's like unbelievable that they're charging for that, and that's because they control the platform. There's no competition, there's no freedom. So yeah, it's funny, PC players always make that joke. Wow, they're getting away with murder.
We should piggyback off that comment about PC. There is a fantastic article on IGN right now saying that it's a tough time being a PC gamer today. And the reason why is because the whole PC industry, component industry, is moving towards artificial intelligence. So they're putting more and more sort of architecture into these cards and these, these different components. And it was just really, really good where the guy was saying how like, traditional PC gaming is not dying, but like it's not going to be around for long, because like when I say that, I'm talking about building your own tower and all of that, because we're getting to the point where like if the rumors are true and the 5000 series, the RTX 5000 series from NVIDIA, they're saying that the 5090 will have a suggested manufacturer's retail price of $2,500. If this is
change for you, man,
if this is accurate, like,
that's
and
insane,
even
dude.
Intel said that their top of the line GPU is now actually slower than the ones that are out right now because they're changing the computational rates to focus on artificial intelligence. And you don't need that as gamers. Like you want the raw horsepower. You don't want all these other things. And you and I have talked about this quite a bit, that like, Apple's architecture is now the Snapdragon is out. Now Windows is being completely changed. Like, it's going to be a really fascinating decade. Like, the next 10 years are going to be really interesting to see what happens to PC gaming, because it's going to become, at least the way I see it, it's going to be the future. Is where Steam and all of this is all streamed. Everything goes streaming. And then your raw horsepower just becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, I told you, because I have Game Pass Ultimate PC, and I'm starting to I have a 2 terabyte hard drive, still have plenty of space, but dude, some of these games are like Call of Duty's 250, 260 gigs, dude.
Crazy.
So you start having a collection of games. It's just insane amount of storage space. I remember when I built this, I told my friend, you want a 1 gig I want 2. Actually, I want 4. He goes, dude, you'll never need 4 terabyte. Never. Yeah, right. I could use it actually, because I could fill up this 2 terabyte drive fairly easy. But cloud works very well, dude. I was surprised. No lag. I mean, I have fiber, so
I told you the other day. Try GeForce Now, and you will be blown away.
Amazing. It's amazing how good cloud is.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, next 10, 15 years, I think for cost, just get a little fucking keyboard, mouse, a terminal to the thing. You don't need high power stuff anymore. Which is going to be good and great, bad and good. Great for us as a consumer, because you could get high end visuals and everything without investment. For people like Steven, who doesn't want to spend a lot of money on PCs are too expensive to get what you really want. Great for them, but bad for like Nvidia then, because they're like, oh shoot, we don't have the markets that we share that we used to.
Dude,
right?
No one is buying those
so they
cards.
Need to be careful. No. Only the hardcore
developers,
elitists.
Right? Like all the developers, the AI developer. Like, so I don't think they have to worry at all. I think it's going to be. I just think we're going to see quite a revolution occur around this kind of space. I'm telling you, I can totally see it, where you're going to have a device like the Apple TV that'll be plugged into your television, this tiny, tiny little thing, and that's it. And it'll have like the raw horsepower. Well, it's not, but because it's streaming, it'll have, the best graphics, the best everything. It's pretty wild. And I know we're not there yet, because like there's still a significant part of the world is not connected.
Still not on the infrastructure. Oh, and by the way, I know people in comments are say, Google Stadia. Well, Stadia was a little bit way ahead of its time. The world wasn't quite ready for that, and I know people might bring that up. It failed hard. That's streaming tech's never gonna. No, guys, it's going to be here sooner than later. If you don't think otherwise, you're living under the rock. Anyways, but back to AI before we leave. AI is great right now. It's in its infancy, because like a game like Nightingale came out. I remember right, BioWare developers, so they're making their own survival unique ideas, but their levels were designed by AI, and they're pretty barren, not very interesting. So the human touch is not there yet. So AI is quite not as good as it should be yet. So there's a lot of issues. And two, the biggest thing, we talked about this a few podcasts back, is artists are getting the shaft, because now, let's say you're a well-known artist or just a quote-unquote starving artist because you're trying to make a living. I don't need you, Jer. Why am I going to pay you a commission when I could make my own AI art now? And that's going to be an issue. And then right now, too, is a lot of artists' art is being stolen by it. That's the whole like the Power World thing we were talking about. How it takes the source material of said Pikachu and altered it a little bit, but it's still basically the source material is taken and the AI makes modifications for it, so it's not yours anymore, Jared. But then you as an artist, so hey, that's mine. You could totally tell it's my design, and you don't get any kind of compensation for it. So yeah, AI is good as a tool, but it can also be manipulated and used for quote unquote bad stuff. It's a gray line in that. But yeah, artists are really concerned, and not only artists but developers as well, because I'm in a tech company, and they said at the last one of our state of the companies that 80% of developers will lose their jobs to AI in the next 5 years. That's scary,
guaranteed.
Dude. Guaranteed. That's scary So You know, I don't know, guys. We'll see. But luckily, AI is not quite there yet. But it's how fast tech runs and works. Yeah, it's gonna. You'll see. It's gonna change gaming drastically.
Yeah, for sure. It's like look at like what we're doing, right? So like we've created a home life management application that basically helps families manage, manage their home life. We're we're at the perfect time because artificial intelligence is just exploding, so we can teach our algorithms, all the different household routines, preventive maintenance on your appliances, your roof, all that kind of stuff. But realistically, if someone were to have this idea, this exact same idea in 10 years from now, you wouldn't even need programmers. You would
Oh yeah,
literally
yeah.
be able to go into some equivalent of Chat GPT and be like, oh yeah, listen, write me the code for an application that does this and that. And that's insane. Like when we reach that point, you're right. Any sort of development period, like anything like that, is really going to be, it's going to be interesting. Did you check out the Tesla event there and see all
Oh
the
yeah. Do you see that new selfless driving car with no steering
yeah.
wheel and all? Yeah, it's supposed to be taxis, which is interesting, man. Think about taxi companies. I'm surprised they never jumped on the whole Uber thing where they developed it first, because Uber's really drastically. I mean, you remember the days you used to call a taxi, pick up at your house,
Of
and go.
course.
Taxis still have like a little bit of a protection in airports, but taxis are kind of the thing of the past compared to
Yeah.
what they used to be, right?
Well, yeah, they had a
And
monopoly,
now,
dude. That's the thing.
yeah,
That's the thing. Any company that has a monopoly, be
you
careful
gotta be, you
because
gotta innovate, because
someone.
otherwise you're
Yeah,
gonna fall behind. Look at BlackBerry
yeah,
smart devices. They were quoted, "We know what consumers want." Well, where are you now, BlackBerry? Yeah, that's what
exactly.
I thought.
Yeah,
We know. Yeah, I love when you get arrogant like that. But
yeah.
anyways, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting with Tesla, man. Because I'll tell you, I've been in my coworker's Tesla, and it auto drives, parks, amazing, dude.
I know.
It's so amazing how advanced this AI
And dude,
are.
I'm gonna, the thing is, in the United States, this is where it's not. Nah, I'll say more than the United States, North America. This is where having freedom is a blessing and a curse, right? Because it's fantastic, right? Like we're free. However, you'll always need a license here, always,
Yes.
because the government can't force you not to. Could you imagine? Okay, that's it. We're taking away your license and like you'll never be able to drive again. There's no need. Now, that's never going to happen in North America. However, imagine, okay? Take your head here now and imagine a world where humans weren't allowed to drive, right? Do you
Yeah, Minority Report.
realize?
You remember that?
Well, yeah, exactly. Minority Report, iRobot, all those types of things. Like that future, yes, it's scary. Okay, I know we're gonna have people saying, "Oh my god," and like, "What if? What if? What if?" Yes, of course, right? Of course, there's always a what if. Right now, there's what ifs, but realistically, imagine we stop developing engine technology for cars in terms of going faster because the human brain cannot react beyond a certain point. It's too dangerous. But if it was all machines interconnected into like a hive mind type of thing, you
Yeah, then
could.
you don't have that. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like transportation is way faster, way safer. There's no more drunk drivers, no more kids
No
getting
more accidents.
killed.
Yeah.
You know, when you start to think of it like that, it's interesting. Now, the thing
Well,
what's coming to light now is the Optimus robots that were there was very cool.
oh, I
Like,
saw that. Yeah, I saw
but
that. Yeah, very cool.
they were human assisted. They were not they were not autonomous.
Yeah.
So that's the only. So there were like humans wearing VR headsets, making the drinks and stuff like that. Still, listen, super cool and everything like that. And it gives you the illusion of what is possible, which is still pretty. It's pretty interesting. That's one thing, Elon is a very he's a special guy, but
Yeah.
but you got to give the guy credit in one sense that he legitimately wants to change the species. Like like all the companies that he's working on like are trying to push the human species forward in different ways, going to Mars, colonizing other planets and stuff, autonomous vehicles, and like I mean It's crazy.
You know,
Like,
thinking of that subject, it's interesting because the young generation is not a lot. I mean, at least here where I live, a lot of them are not getting their driver's licenses at 16 anymore. To me, that was a sign of independence. That's the first thing you get right away, right?
Yeah.
But they're not interested in learning how to drive. It's like Uber's the thing, and it's like, I don't know, man. Well, first, Uber's not cheap, because I was thinking about that when my car broke down before I got the lease I have now. I was like, hey, maybe I'll just do Uber, man, right? But dude, it would have been just to go to work 5 days a week. It would have been $1,200 a month. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not realistic, because I was thinking I don't have to buy insurance, I don't have a car payment, dude, but it ends up being a lot more.
Yeah, a lot.
So I was like, oh, screw that. But anyways, yeah, the young generation, they don't seem interested in. I mean, again, they could be regional. I mean, Europe might be different, Asia might be different, Latin America, etc. But in the U.S., it's like, at least over here in California, LA, it's like, I don't know about the rest of the United States, but I think it's probably similar. The fact that they're not really interested in driving, I don't understand that. It's maybe because they don't want the bills. Maybe they just don't care.
Well, dude, I'll be honest, man. Like, if you told me I could buy a vehicle and it would drive me around, I don't have the stress of the traffic.
Yeah. Why would you?
Are you kidding? Like, right now, sign me up, man. Like sign me up. Like, I am there.
Yeah, I guarantee. Yeah, then it eliminate. Think about it. We're going to be talking about it. Hockey a little bit. Well, might as well bring it up now, anyways. But hockey's back, guys. Well, Kings lost today, unfortunately, to Boston. But anyways, some two brothers in hockey, really good players, were killed because of a drunk driver.
Yeah.
Again, if this was made 10, 15 years in the future where people aren't drunk, well, probably a little bit more than that, where there's no such thing as that anymore, they would be alive. But yeah, it was pretty sad news that they were. And what are the chances? Both brothers, dude, right? Man, what are the chances of that? And it's always a drunk driver. They were on their bike, and it's unfortunate. But anyways, yeah, hockey's back. The Jets are off to a really good start. The Kings won their first game. They lost on overtime, and to Boston it was 2-1. But anyways, how's your Montreal doing is the question. Let's see. I don't see.
Yeah, let's see. I haven't paid any attention to anything in the last little while.
Montreal, well, they haven't played yet. They start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah, against the Senators.
You guys have a 1-1-0 record, so you won one, lost one. Okay, so it's a young season. But anyways, yeah. And then thinking of hockey, we got some brand new teams too, like Utah and Seattle. Well, Seattle's last year or the year before, I think. But yeah, Utah, man. I mean, shoot. Hockey's expanding, which is great to see.
Yeah, of course. Always.
Yep. All right, Jared, let's go to our next topic. We have really cool, I don't know if you're you're probably not, but a brand new game on PC on the 22nd of October, which is out in 10 days. It's a cult classic, by the way, No Room in Hell.
Oh, you told me that. Yeah. We talked about that 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Oh, we did? Oh, yeah, we did. You're right. But I will be getting it. So I'll give you some heads up in about 10 days. Unfortunately, it won't be probably in the next couple podcasts, but they showed gameplay footage of it, and it looks pretty cool. It's obviously early access, and I don't know, man. I'm getting tired of early access games because they're just basically a beta, an ongoing beta. But these, like we told many times, is these cost of games are really substantial, so you want to get income. But yeah, Extraction. I know you're not interested in those type of things, but the reason I'm really looking forward to this because I do like zombie games, but most zombie games are just your horde shooters, endless waves of zombies. You try to live through it. You co-op. You got to shoot them down. This one is Extraction shooter. It's a little bit more slower paced. That the zombies aren't. You're not going to have hordes of zombies, but you have to be careful because you're limited ammo, limited resources, kind of like a Resident Evil type thing. And if you make too much noise, you could get overwhelmed by several zombies, and these zombies are no joke. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's a different take on the zombie genre. So you have objectives. You go in there. There's a big map. So I think it's a team of 4 or something like that. Here, hold on. I forgot the numbers. It's 8 players co-op, no player versus player, which is awesome because a lot of these extraction shooters, like one of the games I really enjoy, Hunt Showdown 1896. You'll have like teams of like 12 players. You could have, duels, trios, or single player, and you have to go in there, get your hunt, your bounty, and try to extract with it. Well, the problem is there's other people doing the same thing. So team A, B, and C will end up killing each other, whoever lives, extracts, etc. So this is good because it's more emphasis on the player versus environment, where the zombies are the real threat, not humans. So that's kind of cool, different change of pace for extraction shooters. And I'm looking forward to it. So basically, it throws 8 players out into the huge map, and you have to find each other and team up, do the objectives to extract and try to survive. So that's kind of cool. So you have to go actually look for your teammates. You're not going to be together. So it's going to be interesting. I know you're probably not interested in that, but what do you think, Jared?
No, it's cool, man. It's again, you always say I'm not interested. It's not a question of interest; it's a question of time.
Jared, you could always quit your job, man.
Oh, yeah.
Have your wife support you. Tell her that too. See how that goes.
My wife. I'm not married, people.
That's probably a good thing. Don't go back down that trap. Just kidding. Anyways, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We'll definitely have some hands-on that. Like I said, October 22nd. Early access phase starts. They have finally some gameplay footage, because that was kind of a red flag, because it's literally 10 days and it just released 2 little bits this week. So people are like, oh, what's going on? If there is something wrong, is it going to be delayed, et cetera, et cetera? There's no gameplay, because, companies usually, hype it up beforehand. So yeah, they decided to wait. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Some areas are going to change, but it's going to be good. Other news, though, you remember about a month ago, Sony had a big, huge blunder with Concord. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, let's give you some context. Evil Dead, the game, had like a week or 2 before, was getting updates on the Steam's backend, like graphic changes, some GIF changes, some update changes, and version changes. So people that follow and data mine were making videos about it. Oh, is Evil Dead coming back? To let you know, Saber Interactive basically stopped supporting the game about probably a year ago now, maybe less. Basically, it's not going offline. It just doesn't get any updates. So all of a sudden, guess what? Like a week or so ago, it got a new mode or new patch out of nowhere. So people are like, oh, wow, does this mean the game's coming back? But anyways, that's besides the point. On Steam right now, Concord is getting some back-end updating as well. So people are been making some videos of saying, is it going to come back? And if it is, it's going to come back as free to play. And I think it's going to, Jared.
Yeah,
so
me too.
This back end stuff is not just because they're effing them with it for no reason. It means something's happening. Mm-hmm. And I think they paid a lot of money. They bought this studio, and it should have been free to play from the start. So I think this is Concord might have a second chance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing official, but it looks like it might be coming back.
No, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we even talked about that when they pulled it offline. You don't spend like whatever the rumor is, $400 million dollars,
yeah.
And then I don't know, I'm not going to do nothing. Like no, you don't. No.
And I'll let you know, when the game goes to free to play, they have to change some back end stuff. Obviously, they have to create a shop. They have to create monetization to support it. So they have to change some of it, and most likely limit. I mean, I'm not sure what they're going to do but they'll probably limit how many characters you can have access to. This is what free to play tradition does. We're not saying Concord will, but who knows what they're going to do. But it looks like, and if it does come back, I'll definitely give it a try, because I was actually interested in it, but then it kind of fell apart so quick. I'm like, whoa, wow, okay. So yeah, I can't see that happening. If Sony's smart, they'll probably hopefully bring it on Xbox. The Xbox is a more North American shooter focused user base, so it'd be in their best interest to not limit it, but we'll see about that. And if it does come back, guys, we'll definitely be talking about that. But yeah, it looks like they might be coming back, and that makes perfect business sense. Why are you going to not try to at least salvage this project that could potentially make you some steady income long term if they do some adjustments? Are you going to give it a try, Jared?
Oh, I doubt it, man. It's not like, again, that's the type of thing that requires Omega time. You just reminded me of something. Well, first off, let's finish with Concord. I have nothing to say for Concord, but I did want to let everybody know. I'm not sure if you know this. Like, there's a Tomb Raider show coming out on Netflix.
Oh, dude, so many games to like Castlevania did it, and there was a big hit.
Yeah, well, that's I think it's actually the same studio
Yeah.
that's doing Tomb Raider. But the reason why I'm saying is because on all platforms, pretty much, you can get like 75% off all the games. So that's pretty good, especially if you like the remakes that they did there. Like a number of years ago, they had, I don't remember what they were called, but they like with like the more modern Uncharted like gameplay. Those are excellent games. If you haven't played those, I would highly recommend checking them out. Anyway, you can get all three of them for $15 total, which is
that's great.
a steal. Yeah, exactly. So just wanted to put that out there because I was looking at Newsflash.
Oh, very cool. Thinking about news, Tomb Raider chapter for Dead by Daylight's on sale for 20% off until October 24th, guys. So any Dead by Daylight fans, you want Tomb Raider and you don't have Laura, Crouch, you could get her now for a little bit cheaper, $3.99 USD, opposed to $4.99. So a little bit of a savings. I'm probably going to pick that up because I didn't get her yet, but plus not only that, the Halloween sale is coming up for
sure.
For Steam. So Steam's gonna have some big sales. So yeah, if you want some Tomb Raider madness for Dead by Daylight, it's on sale. It's a perfect time to pick it up. Yeah, it'd be interesting, man. Thinking of which, have you been watching that new Marvel series right now, the witches and all that?
You're so funny, man. You make it sound like I don't run three companies.
Jared, more excuses.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I don't run three companies, but yeah, no, man. My life is basically work.
But he's gonna have time to play Dragon Quest III remake, though, guys.
Damn right I am.
And how long do you think that game is, by the way? 20, 30, 40 hours? Because back in the original NES days, it didn't really have much story, did it?
Yeah, three is a big one. Is a bigger one, and don't forget that it also has the jobs. So you have all the different classes and stuff like that. So it really depends. Like I keep saying, I think I'm gonna play it on the PS5 just so I have all the trophies, because that way it forces me to play it even longer. But it depends. It depends on how brutal they are, right? Like in the modern day Dragon Quest games, it's not as bad because there's usually a trick if you play the game long enough to grind. Like there's usually, like in 11, you can do, I don't even remember exactly what the sequence was, but you can convert like regular enemies into metal slime enemies and then one shot them, sort of thing. So it doesn't take long. Like you can grind to level 99 honestly in like a handful, like maybe not even 5 hours, which is, compared to the old days, that's unbelievable. But
it's kind of funny, man. Isn't 99 the max level still? It's like, is that old? I think that was because it was a technical limit at the time, not because it was a
in the OG one, I think it's 20. I think in the original it's like level 20 or something like that. But it's even today, like usually I think like with Dragon Quest 11, I think when you did the first run, you were probably level 50? Something like that. That's usually what it is. Somewhere.
That was such a fun game, man. I loved the whole. I remember I asked, "What does it mean that guy sleeping?" Oh, that's the hero from Dragon Quest III. I'm like, yeah, wow, that's so cool. I'm not a Dragon Quest fan like you are.
Like I
didn't know what that reference was.
I knew that this is where we were going. You know what I mean? Like I knew that this is where we were going. But clearly something happened because this took way too long. Like way too long.
Think about way too long. When are we gonna get info for the next mainline 12, dude? It's like it was announced 2 years ago, and
I think it was announced like 3 or 4 years ago. Like,
dude, is this typical of them?
No, no. This is not typical. So the thing was, I was joking with a friend of mine. I was like, it's because they curse themselves. So Dragon Quest, ever since what? 8, I think it was, something like that, had the tradition of where you would like they basically do like a little video trailer where they show the year and then like, you know, a little video of the game. So it would say like, you know, like 1986, and you'd see like Dragon Quest 1, and then 1987, 88, whatever, and it would just keep going and going and going and going. And then they would show the latest one, and then it would always have like a caption of like, and now the next chapter. And all they would do is you'd have the overture playing, so the theme to Dragon Quest, and you would have like the logo would usually fly into the screen, and you'd have the number, and then you'd have the official art logo. That's it. That's how they would announce the game. Then you would have a gameplay trailer, which was like a reveal trailer, but they usually just focused on the character. So you'd see the character. So for like Dragon Quest 8, I remember the whole world freaking out because it was the first time it went 3D. And people were like, oh my God, this is terrible. And others are like, oh my God, this is amazing. But there was no combat, right? Like they just showed the character. Then they slowly started to show the character moving around. And then you started to see the menus. And then they introduced the battle system. That's the way it's always been. Sort of like Pokemon, you know, like with Pokemon, when they have their initial reveal, and then slowly they drip release different videos and different mechanics and stuff like that. Dragon Quest was much the same forever. Like when Dragon Quest, I have it, it's on our Dragon Quest playlist. If you go through, it wasn't my video, but someone was smart, not me, and captured the original reveal of Dragon Quest 11. And I love it because it was in that vein. You don't see anything. You just see the logo, and the X like flies into the screen with the 1. And then you see the dragon come up and breathe fire. And that's it. And that's all it said. It didn't say what platform it'd be on. It didn't say anything. But then with 12, there was that weird, like whatever it was, like 30th anniversary. I don't remember what it was. Like whatever, 35th anniversary. And Yuji Horii comes out and he's like, oh yeah, and here's another trailer. And they play the trailer, and you've got the logo, not the logo, but you got like gravel and like fire is burning. And then you see like slashes are made and they form an X with a line, and then another line appears. But that's breaking tradition, right? Like that's not the normal way they do it. And I joke with a friend of mine, I'm like, it's because they curse themselves. So now, like, we haven't heard or seen anything. And that is very, very unusual for a mainline Dragon Quest. When they announce the logo, they always, like, you know, 3-4 months later, they'll do a video on like, we're going to introduce the main character. And then 3-4 months later, oh, here's like, you know, here's an environment. And then 3 months later or whatever, like, here's the battle system, here's the whatever. But the fact that they went radio silent, I don't know. And even the remake, there are heavy rumors that it was totally gutted. Because if you compare the original reveal to this one, the graphics are totally different. The locations have been all redrawn and stuff. And so there's speculation that it was restarted. And that's why it was so long. Then you've got other people who are like, no, that's not true. It's because they are adding Dragon Quest 1 and 2 as part of this. But they are, but not the game that we're buying. So
yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know what's up. No idea.
Interesting. We'll have to see. Hopefully in 2025, since 2024 is, I mean, we only got a couple months left. We'll hopefully get more news about Dragon Quest 12. You know, Jared and will definitely be covering that. He's a big fanboy. So's Cranberry, so I'm pretty sure she'll be excited. But last but not least, Halo Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Some Halo news. Yeah, the 2024 Halo World Championship, we saw an unexpected video. It depicted landscapes that you might expect from the Halo series, you know, Forerunner, Arc. So anyways, Halo Studios, new name, new engine, new games, new philosophy. So basically they announced that going forward, Halo will now be using Unreal Engine 5, so no more proprietary engines or any older engines. So Unreal 5 is obviously the latest from the Unreal, really powerful, new. So it's good to see that. Looks like the industry is moving away from proprietary engines, man.
Dude, they're so expensive.
Yeah, it is. There's no point in doing that.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah, there's licensing.
But dude, you're missing part of that story.
Oh, fill me in real quick.
Okay, so that is actually really big news because
it is, yeah.
It's basically Microsoft admitting that what was it? Halo Infinite failed.
Yes,
so
it did. Yeah.
They built an engine for Halo Infinite that was supposed to last years. It was going to be a live service game. It was going to be like a perpetual Halo. And it bombed. Well, yes. by Halo standards anyway, it bombed. And so that's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal. When I read that, I was like, if there's one series in Microsoft's repertoire that needs like a little kick in the pants, it's Halo. Because I have played every single Halo since the original, and it's a fun series. Like it is just a fun series to play, and it's so sad to see like where it is right now.
I wonder why it's having so. I mean, there's other games too, man. It's just weird. Maybe they haven't handled it correctly, or something like that, or maybe it's just such saturated markets these days. But yeah, it's kind of weird because Halo's been like one of their flagship bread and butters, like you said, for a while. I don't understand why.
Forever, since day one.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. When Bungie left, it was like I don't know. It's like it lost its soul, like along the way or something. It's weird, but Gears is the same thing. The minute, like, who was that? Who the hell made Gears of War? Was it Unreal? It was one of those. It was one of those big, like Epic, or I forget who the hell it was that made the original 3. I just remember Cliffy B. Woo. But like the minute they stopped making it, again, it's so hard as a fan of the series. It's so hard to explain, but it's like something was missing. And this, guys, you have to remember that, like Tim said, like I'm a Dragon Quest and Zelda nutball, and those games are made by different people, you know what I mean? Especially Dragon Quest. Like Nintendo typically will stick with like their core developers, but like this new Zelda, yeah, they had oversight, but it was still created by an external studio, and it feels like Zelda. It smells like Zelda. I know that makes no sense. But it's the same with Dragon Quest. Like the Dragon Quest games, like level 5, when they made Dragon Quest 8 and 9, they weren't Enix or Square Enix or whatever you want to call it. Yet they had the soul of the series. And I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's like with Halo and Gears of War, it's just, I don't know, something is off with those games.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can bounce back. I mean, they're good usually games. Maybe they have to focus. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't really play much Halo, but I will because it's going to be on Game Pass. But who knows? Maybe it's just it's a little tiring. Maybe the people don't want live service anymore. I don't know. I don't think that's true. It's just, I think the live service market's just so saturated. But who knows? We'll definitely be keeping up to date. I hope it makes some kind of comeback because Microsoft's definitely making some drastic changes or some major changes, and that might benefit. Who knows? I think they need to focus on making games fun again rather than making them profitable. Because a lot of these big executives, when they go into a project, they're going, okay, Jared, your team, let's focus on how to make it profitable. How can we monetize? I'm exaggerating a little bit, right? But rather than going in there, hey, let's make a really fun game from the ground up and go from there. That's why the indie scene's so huge right now, guys, is because those games focus on fun gameplay, etc. I mean, there's not much you could do gameplay-wise, I guess, with a shooter. I mean, the core is the same no matter what, but you could innovate. You could do some interesting things, and I don't know. It's weird. Halo should be
I think
extremely successful.
Yeah, and I mean Microsoft. We're not going to talk about that now because we got to wrap up. But
yeah, before we go, but what is a I forgot who it was, but he said something. Quote: "It doesn't matter who. I guess it is. We like to give credit where credit's due, but basically, he said the industry AAA is a thing of the past. We've said before, AA is the way to go. Because what kind of world do we live in that where you have to sell 5 million copies for a game to be successful? And that's pretty great statement.
Yeah,
think
of course.
About it.
Yeah, 100%.
What world are we living in where we? And the thing is, that's where big executive companies come in. Their expectations are unrealistic, dude. And I think they're kind of hurting stuff more than anything.
Dude,
they want.
Hollywood.
Their expectations are not real. It's the same thing with Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood used to be like, yeah, your blockbusters, but every little movies would help support it. Now everything has to be a grand slam or it's a failure.
Yeah, and because of that, you end up taking less risk because obviously you're not going to. I wouldn't if it's me. Hell no, I'm not going to take a risk on something like that. Like absolutely not. And with Microsoft, like I'm going to stop here. I mean, if you have anything else you want to say, we have like 2 minutes. But one thing that I will say that we'll talk about is like now Microsoft is now the largest publisher in the world.
Scary, huh? Interesting.
It is interesting. So I'm going to pose this to all of you guys. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to pose it to everybody and we can talk about it next time. But why do you stay in hardware now? If you're the largest publisher, don't you want your stuff everywhere? And I leave it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Same thing, too. It's a question to ponder, and I think we know what the answer is.
All right,
take
guys.
a genius.
Well, listen,
guys.
Thanks a lot, Tim. That was awesome. I really enjoyed this, and we'll catch you next week.
Yep. Take care, guys. Bye.